Michael, if you had to think about some of the key characteristics of the makeup artist today, what would those characteristics be?
Well, I think that for me, when I look at the industry today, it is a very broad cross-section of artistry, more so than ever, with so many different factors being in play, working in the internet, working on web series, working in online catalogs, so many different pieces of it, that I think that what a lot of artists today really need to be focused on is understanding that they have to have a wide range of understanding of technology. The technology piece from an HD perspective is critical, from a 4D, from all these pieces where they're coming into play with different technologies that will affect not only the makeup choices that they make, the application choices, sometimes the tools that they use, and the jobs that are available. So the technology piece is going to be very critical. That said, overall in the industry, I think we all need to understand that there's some characteristics of makeup artistry and working as a freelance makeup artist that are going to be important no matter what part of the industry you're working in. Some of those are the tenacity to make sure that they're able to stick out a very difficult, challenging career, because as satisfying as this career is, it can be a really tough career to work in and to be successful in over many years in the long term. I think being driven, being super focused, not being afraid of, it sounds a little bit silly to say, but not being afraid of hard work. I think a lot of people today think that because of digital enhancements, because of CGI and film, because of retouching in digital photography, that they can be, I don't want to sound negative, but a little lazy about their artistry. The craft of the professional makeup artist has not become less important because of technology. It's become more important because now we can really start to see the difference between someone with a heavy skill set and a really strong craft and someone who's just doing makeup. And that's a big difference.
Okay, great. If you had to think of some of your past experiences regarding coaching, development, for marketing for makeup artists, the ones that didn't make it, so to speak, what did you think, what was missing in that element?
You know, Dana, I think that without saying the things I talked about already, missing those things is obvious. But I also have said to many groups that I speak with, especially student groups, that this is a challenging industry. This is an industry that doesn't get easier as the years go on, because as a freelancer in this industry, you're always waiting for your next job. It's never automatic. And even when it becomes automatic, where you have a lot of clientele who are drawing upon your talent, you're never guaranteed that that client is going to continue to come back to you. So for me, I think that when an artist isn't prepared for the challenge of this career, from a getting work standpoint, if they're too focused on, for example, I will only work in this particular area of artistry, I don't want to focus on that. And that's important to have that drive and direction. But if you are focused so solely on a particular type of job that you're not open to other areas of work, it can be very detrimental for your career because you're sometimes not able to get the level of work you want in that. So I think being unprepared for the challenges of finding regular work, and maybe a lack of drive, wanting it too easily. I think a lot of people get into this career because they see people on social media or on television who are looking like famous rich people. And if you're getting into this career to become rich and famous, it's probably a really bad career to get into. The only reason to enter a career of makeup artistry is because you have a passion for it. Because there's nothing in the world that you would rather wake up in the morning and say, I get to go do this today. That is why you become a makeup artist. If you're coming into the industry for the wrong reason, then you're probably not going to last very long.
Yeah. And you touched on a little bit of my actual last question. If you had to say, in your experience, is it better to then specialize or hone in on certain skill sets or genres of makeup? Or do you think that just being an overall jack of all trades type of makeup artist for someone first starting out is the best way?
Sure, it's a great question, and one I think a lot of people are curious about as they're starting out, and also a lot of people in sort of smaller markets. in New York and Los Angeles and Paris and London and big major markets where you have big film industries, big fashion industries, big commercial and advertising industries, it's a little easier to stay focused on one thing. If you're in a market like Fort Lauderdale or Chicago, even Miami, Dallas, San Francisco, these are markets where you should have a little bit more range. Sometimes you need to do hair and makeup. Sometimes you need to be able to really look at beauty as a 360-degree approach to your artistry and really have multifaceted skill sets. But I do think that for those who are trying to become very focused in a certain area, their passion and their love is film. Their passion and their love is bridal. They absolutely love the service element of our industry, or they absolutely love the theater and working in that capacity with stage work. Just be prepared to have a little bit more of a struggle. We already talked about how tough this industry can be to become successful in the long term. If you're prepared for it and you're ready for it, then stay super focused. And this isn't meant to sound sarcastic or snarky in any way, but if you have the financial means to be able to support yourself or through your family, or if you have the means to support yourself financially, then you can stay focused because you don't require the ongoing revenue stream. If you require the revenue stream like I do or you would, we need that ongoing paycheck. So we have to have the breadth of skill that allows us to take on different roles and different jobs, because then we're able to continue to feel motivated and inspired by our career. There's nothing less inspirational or motivational than not seeing a job on the calendar for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And that can bring you down as an artist. And really, if you love this industry and you're passionate about it, it should be lifting you up every single day. And you should be open. And I think openness and willingness, more than maybe a direct approach to finding other kinds of work, but an openness and a willingness to maybe look outside of your preferred genre of artistry and say, I know that I'm a bridal artist, but I'm going to try this too. I know that I'm a fashion or editorial or commercial or catalog artist, but I'm going to try bridal, or I'm going to try film. And I think that not only opens up different layers of your artistry, but it also definitely allows you to find different types of work, create revenue streams that maybe weren't expected. But the short answer to your question is it really depends on where you are, and it depends on your circumstances. But having a broader range of understanding as you are entering in the industry is really important to me, because you never know what's going to spark that level of interest that maybe leads you into a whole different area of the industry that you hadn't expected.
Or what doors may open.
Or what doors may open. Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure. Glad to be here with Cosmix.